Alright, so first and foremost, I want to apologize immediately for this quality. I know it is not my typical quality, but I kind of just wanted to sit down and just talk to you via MacBook because it's just a lot more personal in my opinion, and I don't get so freaked out when I have to set up the tripod and all that stuff. But today we're going to talk about how to survive school, and this is just basically my 2 cents on the topic of college because, as y'all know, I just graduated from UCLA, and this can be applied to high school as well, but more so college, and more so the person going away to college rather than the commuter, because I feel like the commuter is a very different experience, or has a very different experience. Secondly, we are on my bed, so every time I move, the MacBook moves, and I know everyone's gonna complain about that, so I'm so sorry, but the lighting here is the best. Like, oh my gosh, and you can see my room. I don't know, I just like this composition a lot. Anyways, so first thing I'm going to talk about is the number one question I always get asked whenever I want to do a college Q&A or just an advice video. It is, how do I make time for, or how do I have time for X, Y, and Z? It's just basically asking me, how do you balance school, work, a social life, dating, I don't know, all of that stuff at once. And I just want to start off by saying that saying you don't have time is 100% an excuse. Because if you really, really think about it, we all have the same amount of hours in the day as Beyonce, Elon Musk, Bill Gates, Casey Neistat, whoever your idol is. We all have the same hours in a week, 168, the same hours in a day. So I used to have a friend who always loved to use this excuse that she doesn't have time. And a really good example of that is when she used to date a lot of terrible guys. She was a serial dater. Nothing wrong with that, of course. But she would get heartbroken, and she would tell me, like, oh, like, how do I stop this? And I was just like, why don't you invest your time and do something creative? Like, why don't you start a blog? Why don't you do something different? And she just looks at me and she's like, I don't have time. And I'm just sitting there thinking, well, you have all this time to meet all these guys and get heartbroken, but you don't have time to start a blog or, you know, pursue your creative passions. And to me, that just says, I don't prioritize that. I prioritize this over that. So I think that's a really good way of thinking about it, is the next time you say you don't have time for, it's actually you're saying that I don't prioritize that over this. Because you make time for what you want to make time for. You know what I mean? So I just think I don't have time as an excuse. And when people meet me at meetups or meet and greets, they're like, how did you do YouTube and school and stuff like that? And in all honesty, I remember one of my most watched videos to this day is my dorm tour video, and I filmed that during 0 week when everyone was going out to the first football game of the season. All my floor mates were going, nobody had friends, and that was kind of just like our social bonding event to make new friends. And I remember I declined, and I stayed in my dorm all by myself all afternoon talking to a tripod and filming that dorm tour video. And it was because I made time for that. You know, there was no way that I would be able to film my dorm tour and go to the football game and attend class. So I prioritized YouTube during that time, and you can too. So I don't know, I think the next time that you say you don't have time for something, just remember that we make time for what we want to make time for. And hi Komi, and not to call an Asian mom on you, but if you're watching this video, you probably already have more time than you think. But if you guys want a more practical answer of how I, you know, survived my college experience, I legitimately did not sleep. I slept from probably 3 a.m. to 6 a.m. every day. I was sick all the time. I'm pretty sure a lot of you guys remember that. And that was just because I wasn't getting enough rest. And that's because sleep was something I didn't have time for. It's just something I didn't prioritize, and I still don't prioritize over, you know, working and hanging out with friends. But definitely get your sleep, and that was just my personal decision. So yeah, if you want a more practical answer, I just didn't sleep. The next part I want to go into is just resources, and these are tangible resources that I think are going to help you out throughout your school experience. You guys should check out Evernote. It's an awesome free note-taking app where you can record a lecture and type at the same time, digitally store your notes that you've handwritten. Study Blue and Quizlet are amazing for memorizing flashcards, but you can make them online. And my little cheat tip, it's not really cheating, but I think it's cheating, is Googling your course name at your university, and I guarantee you someone has already made a flashcard set of that midterm, so you can kind of just go and look and don't even have to make your own. You can just kind of mooch off somebody else's from the past. That helped me a lot in college, and the World Wide Web is such an amazing resource, but no plagiarism, guys. Slugbooks is awesome. It is basically a search engine that pulls from all the book places on the internet, Amazon, eBay, half.com, and it finds you the cheapest textbook. And I used to use that all the time. None of this is sponsored. It is things that they're tried and true. I used to eat a lot of protein bars and granola bars in college, as I'm sure a lot of you are going to very soon. I feel like I've never really liked Kind bars or Cliff bars, and so I wanted to share a bar that I discovered in college, and I loved it a lot because it has 20 grams of protein, very little sugar, and it made me feel really full. It is the Think Thin protein bars, and I love the brownie crunch one, and I used to eat that so much. You can get it at Ralph's, Whole Foods, Trader Joe's. It's a little bit more pricey, and I order mine now off iHerb.com in bulks of like 20, so definitely get that. But also for note taking, I wanted to mention that a really good way, if you're studying something more conceptual, like history or poli-sci or something like that. I guess, is that really conceptual? I don't know. But for that, a really good way to take notes is to color code through highlighting. So instead of just mindlessly highlighting all through one color, I would get 5 highlighters, and I would do who, what, when, where, or public figures or events, and I would just color code it. So I would be very mentally, cognitively aware of what I was reading, rather than just, oh, this is important, this is important. If I just wanted to find an event, it would all be highlighted green, and that was amazing. I would highly recommend that. As far as note-taking skills, I'm very bad at taking notes. I go without lines because I like the free form. Oh, look at how sad she looks with her cone. No, baby just got spayed. Call me, sit. Stay. Stay. Good girl. So the next most popular question I always get asked is about motivation and how to stay motivated through it all. I don't know why people ask me this, because I don't understand. If it seems like I was very motivated in college, because I really wasn't. But I had no plans for graduate school or even a solid career path. Something I did notice about my college experience is that I surrounded myself with highly competitive people, lots of overachievers. I never really hung out with people who sat in the back of the classroom, if I wanted to be cliche. I always typically hung out with people who always came in early and sat in the front, and I would kind of just like mosey my way into those study groups. If you're a competitive person, and I am a very competitive person, you need to surround yourself with overachievers, because I think by association and by osmosis, you will overachieve as well. Because when you're surrounded by people who are always trying to overachieve, you kind of feel left behind, even more so. So definitely surround yourself with the right people, with the right study friends. Last topic I really want to talk about is finding yourself and finding your major, your passion, your whatever it is. And for me, I did communications for all 4 years. I did not change. I don't know why anyone would change from communications to engineering or anything like that. Communications is usually the major everyone switches into by their senior year. But at UCLA, they do make it very impacted, and you have to have a 4.0 GPA. But what I was going to say is that I always knew I wanted to be a comm major because I love writing, and prior to, even knowing what I wanted to do, I really wanted to be a magazine editor. I really wanted to be even a journalist, which is why I did the Daily Bruin for 3 years of my life. No, 2 years of my life. And I just realized, like, I don't love writing that much, and UCLA doesn't have a journalism major. So that is why I myself chose communications, because I love communicating. As you can tell, it became kind of relevant to what I'm doing now. The only advice that I really have is, You really need to take this time to explore everything. I took philosophy classes, I took economic classes, I took astrophysics classes. Oh, it was so awful. I took classes that had nothing to do with my major, and I actually really enjoyed that. Because it allowed me to explore so many different options before I truly did commit to communications. And granted, with my major, you can still obviously explore. I took so many Asian American classes, gender study classes. Sometimes you have to do all of the wrong things to understand what's right for you. And astrophysics was not for me, economics was not for me, but I did really love all the other classes I did take. So this is a time of exploration, and you can explore your beliefs politically, socially, economically, your sexuality, to meet people from all walks of life. Although I do think the pursuit of higher education is an admirable one, I do think that the school system is an institution and it's not precisely a correct one or the most right one, if that makes any sense at all. I don't know. I just think it has to do a lot with that quote. Forgive me if I say it a little wrong, but it says, everybody's a genius, but if you teach or if you judge a fish by its ability to climb a tree, it will live its whole life believing it's stupid. Or something like that, something along those lines. But that just really resonates with me because, I might not be good at, a lot of things that other people are good at, but that doesn't make me any less intellectual or valuable as another person. We all have different traits, we all have different skills, and you don't have to be good at school, you don't have to be good at a rubric, following a syllabus, or standardized testing, So don't stress too much about that. College is a time for exploration. Truth be told, the only luxury we really ever have in this life is time. And in college, I feel like we have so much time. It is the only time in our life where we can wake up and just decide not to do anything without any repercussions. Without any severe repercussions, that is. Like, you just can't wake up one day and think, oh, I'm not going to work, I'm not going to pay my bills, I'm not going to feed my children. So, with that in mind, take it easy. You're here to have an experience, you're here to learn about yourself, you're here to cultivate yourself. So, that's all I can ever say about that. And any tips on making new friends? In college, my general mantra is say yes to everything. And obviously that has its exceptions, but just what I mean by that is go in with an open mind, keep your dorm room open, even literally, and go out, say yes to going out and get ice cream at 11 p.m., say yes to that study group, just say yes more often, because you don't want to pass up an opportunity, Nobody remembers the night that they had an amazing night's sleep. So, man, this video is full of cliches, but I don't know, that's all I can say. I wish you the very best in college. I feel like if you figure out yourself throughout these 4 years, it's going to be a very fruitful experience. Yeah. Anyways, I hope I rambled so much. I'm so sorry, and I will talk to you guys soon. Bye!